Hey all, welcome to Pluckers Reefs. Today's episode, I'm going to tell you how I stuffed up. Alright guys, yes I did stuff up and yes I'm going to share my stuff up with you because I feel like it's important, one, to show that we all make mistakes in this hobby, and two, more importantly, once we agree that we're all going to make mistakes, it's really handy to know what we can do to fix it as quickly as possible before your wife finds out, even if it's going to save you any sort of trouble. Let me take you on a little bit of a story. I am working from home, and hence why I'm sort of kicking about in my Underwater Pet Expo t-shirt, just getting my jobs done on the computer, and I'm like, oh, I better fill up the RO reservoir for the idiot-proof reef tank, because as you know, I tend to have all of these sort of things automated on my other 6 reef tanks. That one I deliberately kept off the automation circuit because I didn't feel it was fair trying to showcase a tank that has automatic water changes and automatic RO top off and all this sort of jazz. So it has an ATO on it, but I have to fill that ATO reservoir. Now, I'm not used to filling ATO reservoirs. I've got all that automated on my other tanks. Then I noticed this morning it was, when I got up this morning and I go around and just do a quick check, a little visual on all my tanks, I noticed the reservoir was empty, and the Ripple ATO had alerted me to it by having a nice red flashing light saying, hey, this pump's gonna run dry. Great, happy days. That's not the stuff up. The stuff up is, rather than going and getting a 20 litre jug of, or barrel, I guess, of RO water and just swapping them out, I'm like, I've got a gravity feed RO line in that fish room. I'll just put a jug under it, and I'll go have some breakfast, and I'll come back and I'll take that jug and put it on the idiot-proof reef tank. That would have taken probably about 10-15 minutes to fill. Fast forward about 7 hours when I'm finishing, or 7-8 hours probably, when I'm just about finished up my work for the day, and I go and do another quick visual in the fish room, and I walk in the room to, and I go, yeah, looks like I forgot that I was filling up an RO container. Now, it's not an unusual story, it happens to a lot of people, but I figure we're better off covering what to do in that scenario. I've got a couple of little tricks that I use when I have spills or accidents like this, and it does seem to minimize the damage. I'm not recommending you still go out and do this all the time, and I'm definitely not saying that this is the best or anything to approach or anything like that. I'm just going to show you what I do. Take it with a grain of salt and see if it will help you. First thing I want to cover is this is RO water. It's not salt water, so it doesn't have bacteria and stuff in it. It is literally pure water. So it's not quite as bad. It's still not great because you want to get all that moisture out of your carpet, otherwise it turns to mold and creates issues. So normally the first thing I do is I run and grab my shop vac, which is a wet dry vacuum. They can be as cheap as 20 bucks at Bunnings. I've got one at the moment which has got a steel tub. It's no good. The ones are the plastic. You can get some that actually fit on top of old salt buckets, which is even better. I go in with that and I just turn it on. You'd be surprised how much water you pull out in the first 10-15 minutes. I couldn't tell you exactly how many litres I spilt in the room there. I'd be guessing probably about 30 litres, which is a fair amount of water when it's spread out over the carpet. Within excuse me, within about 10 minutes I pulled 20 litres of that water out of the carpet just by running the shop vac over the carpet. And also being a little bit careful because obviously wet carpet, power, you just want to be a bit safe in there. So I pulled out as much of that water as I could with the wet dry vac, shop vac. And then I run and grab my old just aquarium towels, and I basically lay them out and I just stomp around the room getting any other sort of puddles. We'll basically use that as a bit of a litmus test to see where any little collections of water still are in the carpet, because it can be hard to see until you've stood on it and the water comes up. Once the towels are either soaked or I've got the majority of those spaces out, I rip out the big blower, which is this big centrifugal fan which is used to blow up my daughter's water slide. Also, you find the same things on like jumping castles or blow up photo booths. They're a fairly common, I'm sure they're imported out of China, a fairly common large centrifugal air blower. That thing's a beast. I basically put that on and I tilt it down. So I put something under the back of it to tilt it down so it's aiming straight at the carpet. I'll let that sucker blow air over the carpet just to help that evaporation. The carpet's got brilliant surface area. It will wick the moisture up if you let enough air pass over to dry it out. The final thing I do is I make sure, I'm a little bit lucky there in my fish room, I have an oversized air conditioner in there. I set that to dry mode and I then let that pull the moisture out of the air. So we'll go over the steps again very quickly. Wet dry vac, get as much of the standing water out as you can. Carpet, pull out the remaining little bits that have puddled or pooled around the place. Third step, rip out the big fan to try and use that to evaporate the water out of the carpet up into the air. And final step, get the air conditioner pulling the water or the moisture out of the air. Thankfully, I've only had to adopt this approach a couple of times. If it is salt water, you probably want to look into something a little bit more drastic because, like I said, that can carry bacteria and can lead to a little bit more issues like that. How it works for floorboards or hard surfaced carpets could be similar, a little bit different. Can't say I've experienced that yet. I will in the near future. Well, hopefully I won't because my wife will kill me. She will literally kill me if I have a spill like that on our new floorboards. On the old carpet, she doesn't care quite as much, but I might just keep this one a little secret between you and me. So if you do happen to bump into my wife, please don't tell her about this video. Anyway, guys, that's all I got time for today. I just wanted to share this little stuff up with you because it happens to all of us. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, comments, or even suggestions on how I could have done this better, because I am absolutely no expert on cleaning up water spills, I'd appreciate any suggestions or tips you've had from your experience in the hobby. Please pop comments in the section down below. And lastly, if you're enjoying the channel, consider subscribing, cost you nothing, and you'll get notified whenever we get any future videos out. Till next time, guys, stay safe, try to avoid the stuff ups, and keep reefing. Bye.